Hey everyone, my name is Cordell Glass, aka Hot Cocoa, and today I'm going to dive into 13 different levels of complexity for finger drumming. Now this is just my own way of breaking down finger drumming. You can have your own setup, you can have your own personal layers, but I think if you look at each of these layers, you practice each one, and you really allow yourself to get good at each of these layers, you'll be able to do anything you want finger drumming wise. Let's get into it. But before we do, make sure you hit the likey, subscribey, belly, commenty, hit every button that's down there. All right, let's do it for real. Level 1. Okay, so first up we have quarter notes. It's really hard to make something even more basic than this, so this is going to be level 1. All you're doing is playing a note on every downbeat. If you're playing with a metronome, that means you're hitting the drum with your fingers on every note of the metronome, every sound or beep that comes from the metronome. It's really just about feeling the pulse, just finding your timing. You can do it with one hand, you can do it with two hands, you can go back and forth, but finding that downbeat is always going to be foundational for any kind of drumming. Level 2. Level 2, we're looking at eighth notes. That means you're adding a note in between each quarter note. This is also called the upbeat, because if you're bobbing your head, the eighth note will happen on the upbeat. We count it as an and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and tempo doesn't matter. Level 3. Level 3 is 16th notes, so twice as fast as eighth notes, you're adding a note in between the downbeat and the ands. We count this as 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... And as you can see, you can actually vary your pattern and keep this 16th note rhythm consistent. Level 4. Here in level 4, we're adding what are known as ghost notes, or low notes, or inner notes. These are just quieter snare sounds that are usually played by having quieter dynamics with your stick, but in this case, I actually have a ghost note pad for finger drumming. They're usually quieter and tighter than your main snare. Level 5. We call these paradiddles. Paradiddle, paradiddle, paradiddle. A diddle is two notes played by one hand. Para is just drum speak before it. Just like 16th notes, you can change up the timing and still have the same sticking. Paradiddles are just sticking, or in this case, fingering, I guess you could say, which is just which hand you're using to play which notes. Level 6. Level 6 is adding swing to your 16th notes or your 8th notes. As you can see, I started off with it straight, which is not swung. And you move your inner notes slightly over, you'll end up getting a swing. This swing can be slight or it can be really dramatic. Here's an example of it straight. And here's that same groove swung. You can really start to find your own swing and make it your own. Level 7. Here at level 7, we're going to finally introduce playing samples along with the drumming that we're doing. Here are a few samples I'm using. In this case, I'm triggering a sample at the same time as my kick, and then occasionally hitting some of the other samples. Integrating the samples into your rhythmic playing is really good. It's going to bring you up to this level 7. Sample selection is going to be crucial when you get to this level, making sure they're in the same key, they have the same vibe, and they blend well together. Level 8. Level 8 is all about adding fills and variation to the end of phrases. So you can have a simple pattern going, and then at the end of that pattern, you add something different. So here I'm starting off with just those one notes at the end of these 8 counts. Those are my fills. But your fills can get a lot more complex. It's just a great way to add more variation to the patterns that you're playing and keep the listener intrigued. another fill. The fills make sense in contrast to the pattern that's being repeated and established. A lot of times I like to have specific samples that are used just for fills, whether it's basses or other samples being triggered or that big snare. Level 9. Level 9 is all about adding more diddles, like we talked about with paradiddles. Your finger drumming, you can either do it with 2 fingers, or you can do it with 1 finger. It's just going to take some practice and dial it in the way your finger drumming style works for you. If you play them right before a downbeat, we would call that a drag. So adding drags and diddles and these double beats are really going to bring you into this next level. I tend to go with 1 finger, which takes a lot of practice. With drumsticks, you can use the rebound of the drum, which makes diddles way easier. So with finger drumming, you either need to muscle it out or use the double. The double is hard because if you miss the pad, then it's not a double. So you have to make sure both fingers are hitting the pad. Level 10. Level 10 is all about adding dynamics and velocity to your playing so that you can have quiet notes, piano or pianissimo, or louder notes, forte, fortissimo, and everything in between, mezzo, forte, mezzo, piano, and there's so many other variations. You can design your drum kit so that you can emphasize these changes in dynamics. Here the velocity changes the volume of this ghost snare, and I've also added a filter that's affected by the velocity. So the louder I play on the pad, the louder the gain of that sample, and the more the filter opens up the cutoff. The quieter I play, the quieter the sample is, and also the lower the cutoff is on the filter. Adding dynamics like this will bring a whole new level of musicality to your playing and your performance. Level 11. Level 11 is all about rhythmic modulation. In this case, I'm going to be moving from 16th notes, as you can hear right here, all the way down to triplets, or 12th notes. Alright, here comes the switch up. The tempo didn't change. All that changes the rhythm that I'm playing. Being able to smoothly transition from different rhythms brings a whole new layer of complexity to your playing. Triplet, 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 triplet. Level 12. Level 12 is all about what are known as polyrhythms. This is when 2 different rhythms are played at the same time. In this case, I've got triplets and 16th notes being played at the same time. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and triplet, 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 triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and triplet, 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 triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Being able to maintain these polyrhythms and go into fills is when we start blending these layers of complexity together. And finally, level 13. Level 13 is all about finding the pocket. In this case, finding the pocket means recognizing an internal groove and consistently staying within that internal groove, finding that pulse and riding it all the way downtown. When multiple musicians are in the pocket together, everyone in the room knows it. But you can still find the pocket on your own when you're finger drumming. There's no metronome going on here, there's no loops. The pocket is being felt from internal systems coming out down to your fingertips and then into the sounds that you're playing. The pocket isn't necessarily about tempo or rhythm, it's just about finding that consistency and finding that groove. It's the only way I can put it. Finding the groove that really fits with your body and the body of the people that are listening. It's more about timing than anything else.
If you thought that was helpful, make sure that you let me know in the comments below. You can check out my website if you liked some of the sounds that you heard in this tutorial. Let me know which level you think you're at. Let me know if you think there's some levels I missed. And definitely send me some stuff if you decide to use any of these things in your own finger drumming. I'd love to check it out, maybe even feature it on the channel. I'll catch you in the next one.